You feel it, don't you? The quiet ache that no one sees, the weight of your struggles that only you know. It feels like life or death, as if everything you've been holding on to is slipping away. But here's the truth. Allah is guiding you through this pain, not to destroy you, but to heal you. What feels like the end is actually the beginning of your recovery. The hurt you're hiding is the very thing that will reveal your healing. Allah is pulling you through this darkness, not leaving you alone. You are not lost, you're being guided. Trust that Allah's plan is leading you to a place where your soul can finally rest and heal. 1. You think it's a loss, but it's your rescue. You feel it, don't you? That quiet ache that sits heavy in your chest, like something's missing, like something's slipping away, but you can't quite put your finger on it. It's a deep, silent pain, almost like a shadow creeping in, but you can't see its source. You're just left with this emptiness, like your heart is constantly being pulled in different directions, and no matter how hard you try, you can't seem to hold on to anything for long enough. Maybe it's the relationships that once felt right, but now seem to weigh you down. Or perhaps it's the dreams you thought were within your reach, slipping away like sand through your fingers. You might find yourself questioning everything. Why are things falling apart when you've tried so hard to make them work? You ask yourself, why is everything being taken from me? It feels like you're losing everything you've built, everything you've held on to. The pain is real, and it's hard to ignore. But let me tell you this. What you're feeling isn't the end. It's not a loss, it's a rescue. Allah is pulling you out of something you couldn't see was harming you. It's hard to understand now, but in this moment, He is guiding you away from things that were never meant for you, from things that were slowly draining your peace, your joy, and your purpose. The relationships, the paths, the situations, they seemed like the right choices, didn't they? They felt safe, comforting, even necessary at the time. But now, as they slip through your hands, it's as if the universe is conspiring against you, testing your patience. But the truth is, what feels like loss is actually protection. Allah is saving you from something you could never have seen for yourself. He sees what's ahead. He sees the traps you've been walking towards, the chains you didn't even know were wrapping around your soul. You couldn't see the damage being done because these things were wrapped up in comfort, disguised as what you thought was best for you. But in His infinite mercy, Allah is opening your eyes, pulling you away from those things, and setting you on a path that will lead to true peace. Right now, you might feel like you're falling apart. Like everything you've worked for, everything you've held on to, is being taken away piece by piece. But understand this, everything that is being removed from your life was never yours to begin with. It wasn't part of the plan Allah had written for you. It was a false sense of security, a lie you believed, and Allah is now waking you up from it. Imagine being stuck in a room, dark and suffocating, thinking it's the only place you can be. You don't even realize the door is right there, just a few steps away. The light from the outside is almost within reach, but you're too caught in the shadows to see it. Allah, in His mercy, is guiding you toward that door, even though it feels like you're being pulled out of everything familiar. It's the moment when your heart is aching and you feel like you're losing control, but Allah is quietly opening that door, leading you to something greater. It's so hard to let go, isn't it? It's hard to trust when everything you thought you knew is crumbling. You've built your life around certain things, certain people, and the thought of losing them feels like losing yourself. But you need to remember, Allah is taking you out of that room because it was never meant to be your home. He's guiding you to a place where you can breathe freely, where your soul can grow, where your heart can heal without the weight of what's been dragging you down. This moment, this feeling of loss, is just the beginning of something greater. The emptiness you feel is the space being cleared for what is truly meant for you. Allah is clearing out the clutter, the things that didn't serve your highest good. It feels painful, yes, but it's a necessary pain. It's the pain of growth. It's the pain of being reshaped into something stronger, something wiser, something more aligned with your true purpose. This isn't the end, my friend. This is the beginning of something beautiful, something you can't even see yet. Allah's mercy doesn't always look like comfort, but it always leads to peace. What seems like destruction now will lead to the most profound healing. Trust that what is slipping away was never yours to keep, and what Allah is preparing for you is far more beautiful than anything you can imagine. You think it's a loss, but it's your rescue. And in the end, you will look back and thank Allah for pulling you away from everything that was never meant to stay, because He's guiding you to something better, something far beyond your understanding, something that will make you whole again. Hold on. You are being rescued. You are being guided to what is truly yours. And when the storm settles, you will see the path He has prepared for you, a path that leads straight to your healing, to your peace, and to your purpose. You are not losing anything that was meant for you. This is Allah's mercy in motion. Keep trusting Him, even in the pain. He is pulling you out of the trap and leading you to a life of freedom, peace, and fulfillment. You are not lost. You are being found. 2. What you thought was comfort was actually a trap. You've been living in what seemed like comfort, haven't you? You thought that the relationship, the job, the life you had was exactly what you needed. You thought that the things around you, the people, the circumstances they were, the answers you were seeking, the solutions to your worries. For a while, they gave you a sense of relief, a feeling of being grounded, like you were finally on solid ground after years of feeling lost. But now, in the silence of your heart, you're beginning to realize something you couldn't see before. The comfort you thought you had was not really comfort at all. It was a trap, beautifully disguised as something that felt safe, something that appeared to give you the peace you were searching for. You were lulled into believing that this was the best you could have, that the comfort you were experiencing was what Allah intended for you. What you thought was love was actually a chain. What you thought was stability was really a lie. The very things you believed would protect you were, in reality, holding you captive in a place where your soul could not grow. The people, the circumstances, the things you surrounded yourself with, they seemed right, didn't they? At first, they seemed like the missing pieces to your puzzle, like the answers to all the questions you had been asking. But Allah, in His infinite wisdom, sees what you cannot. He sees the trap hidden beneath the surface. He knows what's going on in your heart when you're not looking, what's happening in the deepest parts of your soul when you're not paying attention. The comfort you thought was safety was really a slow suffocation. It was a false sense of security, a comfort that kept you stuck in a life that was never meant for you. And though it felt like peace at first, Allah knew it was time for you to break free. You didn't see the chains because they were invisible. You couldn't feel the walls closing in because they were lined with the softest fabric, so soft that you thought they were just a part of your world. But Allah saw it, and He saw you. He saw how you were becoming smaller and smaller in a space that wasn't meant for you. He saw how the comfort was turning into a cage, how the relationship was turning into control, how the job was turning into an identity that wasn't yours. When Allah begins to remove these things from your life, it's not punishment. It's not because He's angry with you. It's because He's giving you the chance to breathe again. He's removing the comfort that was really a trap. And yes, it's painful. Yes, it's confusing. But it's all part of Allah's mercy, His way of guiding you to a higher place, a better life, a truer sense of self. The trap was not a dramatic, obvious thing. It wasn't something that you could easily see or recognize. It was subtle. It was hidden behind smiles, behind promises, behind things that seemed safe and right. But Allah, in His mercy, opens your eyes to it, even when it feels like everything is being taken from you. He's not taking from you what is meant to stay. He's taking away the things that were holding you back from the life He truly wants for you. And as much as it hurts now, as much as it feels like loss, trust that it's the beginning of your freedom. This life of comfort, of security, of things you thought were permanent, was never meant to be your final destination. Allah knows that, and so do you, even if you're too scared to admit it right now. Deep in your heart, you know that there's something better. You know that the comfort you thought you had was just a temporary stop on the journey, a pit stop that was meant to prepare you for what's ahead, not to keep you there forever. And when Allah begins to take those things away, when He starts to remove the people, the comforts, the sense of false security, it feels like everything is crumbling. It feels like your world is shattering. But that's when you need to remember this. Allah doesn't remove anything from your life unless it's making room for something better. He doesn't close doors unless He's preparing a new one to open, one that leads you closer to Him, one that brings you closer to the real peace you've been searching for. So yes, what you thought was comfort was, in fact, a trap. It was a comfort that was quietly, slowly suffocating your soul. But now, Allah is giving you the chance to breathe again. He's guiding you out of that space and towards something far more beautiful than you can see right now. What He has planned for you is beyond what you can even imagine, beyond what you thought you were settling for. The road ahead might not be clear yet, but trust in Allah's wisdom. He knows the way. Even when everything around you seems uncertain, even when you feel lost and unsure, remember that Allah is guiding you out of what you thought was comfort and into the true peace and freedom that He alone can give. Hold on and know that this is not the end. This is the beginning of a journey towards something greater. Trust that Allah is removing the traps that were never meant for you, and He's leading you to a place where your soul can finally thrive. 3. You didn't even realize you were suffocating. You didn't even realize you were suffocating, did you? You woke up every day, moving through the motions, telling yourself everything was fine. You were convinced that the life you were living was the only option, that the relationships, the work, the commitments were just a part of who you were. You thought you had everything under control. You thought that the heaviness in your chest, the tightness in your heart, was just a phase, something you could push through. But little by little, that heaviness started to take root, didn't it? It became more than just a passing feeling. It became a part of your everyday. At first, it was subtle, a nagging feeling that something wasn't quite right, but you ignored it. You told yourself that it was just stress, just a part of life. You told yourself that you were just tired or overwhelmed. And then it grew. Maybe it came in the form of sleepless nights. Or maybe it was the constant feeling of being disconnected from yourself, like you were just floating through life without truly being present. You tried to keep up with everything, pretending that everything was fine, telling yourself that you could handle it. But deep down, something inside you was slowly being drained. You didn't see it at first. You didn't realize that what you were experiencing was not just normal life stress. You didn't realize that you were suffocating in silence. The weight of your worries, the pressure of expectations, the guilt, the fear, they were all piling up, quietly, behind the scenes. They were closing in on you, slowly but surely, and you didn't even notice until it was almost too late. It wasn't until things started to fall apart, until everything you once thought you could rely on started to slip away, that you realized just how suffocated you had become. And even then, you didn't fully understand it. You still thought that maybe if you pushed harder, tried more, you could fix it. But no matter how much you tried to hold on to what you thought was keeping you afloat, it was like trying to hold water in your hands. Everything was slipping through, and you were getting more and more tired, more and more drained, and you didn't even know why. You were so busy trying to make everything work that you couldn't see what was actually happening. The relationships you were holding on to were pulling you further away from yourself, not closer. The habits you thought were helping you were just band-aids covering deeper wounds. The places you thought you belonged were actually stifling your growth. All along you had been in a cage, but it was made of things you thought were safe. You couldn't see the bars because they were covered with comfort, with familiarity, with the illusion of security. And so you kept moving, you kept going. You kept telling yourself that you could manage, you could fix it. You didn't want to admit that you were suffocating because that would mean acknowledging that something was wrong, and that was too scary. The idea that you might not have control over everything, that you might not be able to fix it all, was a thought you pushed away. So, you kept going. You kept breathing shallowly, just enough to get by. But in truth, your spirit was struggling to find air. And then, one day, it hit you. It may have been a small realization, or it may have been a moment where everything just came crashing down at once. But it became clear. You had been suffocating all along. The things you thought were helping you survive were actually making it harder for you to breathe. The people who promised to love you had inadvertently suffocated your sense of self. The promises you made to yourself, the ones that kept you pushing forward, were built on the belief that you had to keep going, no matter what, even if it meant sacrificing your peace, your joy, your heart. This suffocation didn't come with obvious signs. It didn't come with loud alarms or flashing red lights. It came in the quiet moments, in the corners of your soul where you didn't want to look. It came in the form of subtle anxiety, of quiet restlessness, of a sense that something was just not right. And because it was so subtle, so easy to dismiss, you kept going, kept pushing through. But now, as you reflect, you see it. You see how you were trapped in this quiet suffocation. But Allah, in His infinite mercy, never leaves you in that state. He sees when you are struggling, when your spirit is gasping for air, and He knows exactly when to intervene. The moment you felt like you couldn't breathe anymore, the moment when everything seemed to be falling apart, that was when Allah started guiding you out. That was when Allah started opening your eyes to what you couldn't see before. What you didn't realize was that this suffocation was not meant to break you, but to make you realize the things that had been holding you back. This moment, this pain, is Allah's way of showing you the areas of your life that needed to change. This wasn't a punishment, and it wasn't a sign of your failure. It was a sign of Allah's mercy. He was opening your eyes, showing you what you were blind to, helping you see the traps you had fallen into. He was gently pulling you out of the suffocation you didn't even know you were experiencing. Now, as things start to change, as people, situations, and even parts of yourself begin to slip away, you may feel like you're losing everything. You might feel like you're losing control. But let me remind you, Allah is guiding you through this. He's taking you out of the suffocation that you didn't even know was suffocating you. And even though it may feel scary, even though it may feel like everything is falling apart, trust that this is part of Allah's plan to give you room to breathe again. When Allah removes the things that were choking your spirit, He's not doing it to hurt you. He's doing it to give you freedom, to give you space, to grow, to heal, and to become the person you were always meant to be. What feels like loss is actually the beginning of your rescue. Allah is pulling you away from the things that were never meant to stay in your life. He's showing you how to breathe freely again, how to live fully, how to be truly alive in His mercy. And though it may hurt, though it may feel uncomfortable, know that this is the moment of your rebirth. The suffocation you felt was the catalyst for your transformation. Allah is not leaving you in this state. He's bringing you out of it, and He's guiding you towards a life where you can finally breathe, where your soul can find peace, where your heart can heal. You didn't even realize you were suffocating, but now, with every breath, you'll begin to feel the weight lifting. You'll begin to see the beauty in the spaces that were once filled with pain. You'll find yourself healing, growing, and breathing again, and you'll realize that this moment, this painful yet beautiful transition, was necessary for your soul to find true peace. 4. Allah is pulling you from what was never meant for you. Allah is pulling you from what was never meant for you. It's hard to grasp, isn't it? The path you've been on, the people you've been surrounded by, the dreams you've been chasing, they all felt like the right things. For so long, you believed they were what you needed, what you were meant for. You thought this was your destiny, the relationships, the work, the life you were building. It felt like the pieces were finally falling into place, and you were on the road to something significant, something that would fulfill you. But deep down you felt it, didn't you? The unsettling whisper in your heart, the quiet thought that maybe this wasn't all it seemed to be. Even as you moved forward, you felt a tug, a pull in the opposite direction, as if something was telling you that this path was not the one meant for you. It wasn't until you started to lose it, until it started to slip through your fingers, that you truly understood. Allah was pulling you from what was never meant for you. And though it feels like pain now, it is mercy in disguise. For so long, you couldn't see it. You couldn't understand why things weren't working out as you had hoped. You worked hard, you prayed, you gave it your all. But no matter what you did, things didn't seem to align. Opportunities that should have been yours passed you by. The relationships you thought would bring peace only brought more confusion and heartache. And now, as everything begins to fall apart, you might find yourself wondering, why is this happening? Why is Allah taking everything away from me? But here's the truth. He's not taking away what was meant for you. He's taking away what was never meant to be yours. Allah is pulling you from what was holding you back, from what was keeping you in a place of false comfort, of false security. It's painful, yes, but it is also the greatest act of mercy. Allah sees beyond the surface, beyond what you can understand in this moment. He sees the harm in the relationships that seemed perfect, in the job that seemed stable, in the life that seemed fulfilling. He sees the trap you couldn't see, and He is pulling you out, gently but firmly. You may feel like everything is slipping through your hands, but in reality, Allah is freeing you. You were never meant to stay in that place. The path you were on was leading you somewhere you couldn't even imagine, somewhere more beautiful, more fulfilling, more aligned with the life Allah has destined for you. And Allah, in His mercy, is guiding you away from what was never yours, so that you can find what truly belongs to you. It's hard to understand now, isn't it? It feels like everything is collapsing, like you're losing control of everything you worked for. But understand this, the loss you're feeling is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of something new. Allah is clearing the way for you, removing the things that would have kept you trapped, kept you in a cycle of confusion, fear, and uncertainty. He's pulling you away from the distractions, from the things that were never going to give you peace, and leading you towards something far more beautiful, more fulfilling. You're not being punished. You're being protected. You're being guided. You may not see it now, but this moment of loss is actually a moment of salvation. Allah is taking you out of the situation, the relationship, the life that would have stifled your growth, your peace, your potential. He is opening doors that you couldn't have opened on your own, leading you to a place of true happiness, true contentment, true success. Think about it. If you were to stay where you were, if you were to keep holding on to what you thought you needed, you would have been stuck in a place that was slowly draining you, keeping you small, keeping you trapped. The people, the habits, the circumstances, they were never meant to carry you to where you needed to go. They were anchors, holding you down in a place of uncertainty, confusion, and struggle. Allah, in His infinite mercy, sees this. And so, He pulls you away, not to hurt you, but to save you. You might feel heartbroken. You might feel lost. You might feel like you're falling apart because what you thought was secure, what you thought was the right path, is no longer there. But know this, Allah is pulling you towards something that is far better. The relationship that was draining you, the job that wasn't fulfilling you, the life that felt empty, they were never meant to be your final destination. Allah is guiding you away from them because He knows that what lies ahead is far more beautiful, more purposeful, more aligned with the person He created you to be. This is Allah's mercy, wrapped in what feels like destruction. He is taking you out of a place that would have held you back. And yes, it feels painful now, but it's a necessary pain. It's the pain of growth, the pain of transformation. You are being broken open so that you can rise in ways you never thought possible. The old you, the version of yourself that was stuck in that trap, is being shed away, so that the new you can emerge stronger, wiser, freer. Allah is pulling you away from what was never meant for you, and He's guiding you to what truly belongs to you. You may not see it now, but trust that He is making space for the life you are meant to have. He is clearing the path, removing the distractions, removing the obstacles, so that you can walk toward your true purpose with peace, clarity, and strength. This is a gift. This is Allah's way of helping you become who you were always meant to be. Trust in the process. Trust in His plan. What He is guiding you toward is far greater than anything you thought you were losing. Even when it feels like everything is falling apart, remember this: Allah is guiding you to something more beautiful than you can imagine. If Allah is pulling you away from something, it's because He has something far greater waiting for you. You may not see it yet, but in time, you will understand. This is not a punishment. It's a divine redirection, a sign that Allah is taking you to a place where you can truly flourish, a place where your soul can be at peace, a place where you will find true fulfillment. So, don't be afraid to let go. Don't be afraid to step into the unknown. Allah is pulling you from what was never meant for you and guiding you to something more beautiful, more real, more fulfilling. Trust in His plan. Trust that He is leading you to your true purpose, and know that everything you are being guided away from is making room for what He has already prepared for you. The best is yet to come. 5. Allah's mercy sometimes feels like destruction. Allah's mercy sometimes feels like destruction. And I know, it's hard to understand that. When you're in the middle of it, when everything you've built, everything you've relied on starts to crumble, it doesn't feel like mercy at all. It feels like the end. It feels like everything is falling apart, like the walls around you are collapsing and you're trapped in the rubble. But my friend, this is where Allah's mercy often begins. It doesn't always come in the form of comfort or peace. Sometimes it comes in the form of destruction, but it's not the kind of destruction that leaves you broken beyond repair. It's the kind of destruction that clears the way for something new, something better, something meant just for you. You see, Allah's mercy is different from what we expect. We often think of mercy as something soft, something gentle. We expect it to feel like a warm embrace, like a gentle rain on a dry land. But sometimes, Allah's mercy comes with a storm. And when that storm comes, when everything starts to shake and fall, it's easy to think that you're being punished, that you're being abandoned. But in reality, what's happening is Allah is breaking down what isn't meant for you. He's removing the things that were never meant to stay in your life. And while it might feel painful, while it might feel like you're losing everything, it's actually Allah preparing you for what you truly need. Think about it. Sometimes we build our lives on things that seem stable, things that seem like they're bringing us security. But what happens when those things begin to fall apart? It's not that Allah wants to see you suffer. No, He loves you far too much for that. It's that He sees the bigger picture. He sees that the things you thought were stable, the things you thought were safe, are actually holding you back. And so, in His mercy, He lets them fall apart. He lets them crumble so that you can be freed from the shackles you didn't even know you had. It's like standing in a room full of clutter, convinced that everything around you is necessary, that every item has a place. But Allah, in His wisdom, sees the mess. He sees that all of this clutter is weighing you down, preventing you from moving forward. And so, He starts to remove the items one by one, knocking them over, letting them break, not because He wants to hurt you, but because He wants to clear the space for something better, something more fitting, something that will allow you to grow and thrive in ways you've never imagined. In these moments of destruction, when the life you've built begins to crumble, it's easy to feel like you're being abandoned. But this is where trust in Allah becomes so important. Trusting that He is not taking away from you what was meant to stay. He is only removing what was never yours to keep. The relationship that drained you, the job that drained you, the circumstances that made you feel small. All of these things were never meant to be the foundation of your happiness. And so, in His mercy, Allah removes them, even when it hurts, even when it feels like you can't bear it. It's hard, yes. But in the pain, in the discomfort, is where the healing happens. This is when Allah begins to rebuild you, to restore you. It's like when a gardener prunes a tree, cutting away the branches that are dead or diseased, so that the tree can grow stronger, healthier. Allah is pruning your life, cutting away the things that no longer serve you, so that you can grow into the person He always knew you could be. The process is painful, but it's necessary. Sometimes the soul needs to be broken before it can be rebuilt. The heart needs to be emptied before it can be filled with something better. The mind needs to be cleared of false beliefs and attachments before it can be filled with the truth of Allah's guidance. And while you may not understand it in this moment, while the destruction feels overwhelming, know that it is Allah's mercy in action. He is clearing away the debris of your life so that you can experience the peace and fulfillment that you've been searching for. This is where true growth happens. When everything feels like it's falling apart, that's when you're being prepared for the breakthrough. You're being prepared for the life Allah has always intended for you. It's not about the destruction itself, it's about what comes after. It's about the new beginnings, the fresh starts, the opportunities that will open up once the old has been cleared away. Allah's mercy sometimes feels like destruction because it challenges everything you thought you knew, everything you thought you had. But in reality, it's not the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter. Allah is clearing the path for you, removing the obstacles that were keeping you stuck in a life that was never meant to bring you peace. And even though you might not understand it now, even though it might hurt, trust that this is part of the journey to something greater. And in the midst of this destruction, remember that Allah is with you. His mercy surrounds you. His love holds you. Even when everything seems lost, even when the storm feels like it's never going to end, know that Allah is guiding you through it. He is shaping you, refining you, and preparing you for what's ahead. And what's ahead is far greater than anything you're leaving behind. So, don't be afraid of the destruction. Don't fear the storm. Know that Allah's mercy is in every part of it. He's not leaving you in the rubble. He's guiding you out of it, leading you to something better, something more beautiful, something that is truly meant for you. Trust that His plan is perfect, and that everything He is removing from your life is being replaced with something better. The storm will pass. The destruction will end. And when it does, you'll see that Allah's mercy was in every step, in every challenge, and in every moment that felt like loss. Because in the end, what you gain is so much greater than what you thought you were losing. Allah's mercy is leading you to a life of peace, to a place where you can finally breathe, where you can finally be who you were always meant to be. 6. Allah's guidance begins when everything falls apart. Allah's guidance begins when everything falls apart. It's a hard pill to swallow, isn't it? When you've been working so hard, trying so desperately to make things fit, only to see it all fall apart. You might feel like you're failing, or like you've done something wrong. The pain of seeing everything you've built crumble in front of you can be unbearable, and it's easy to think that Allah has abandoned you in those moments. But let me tell you something, that's exactly when His guidance begins. Think about it for a moment. How often do we cling to things that are not meant for us? How often do we hold on to relationships, dreams, jobs, or lifestyles that are keeping us stuck in places of emotional, mental, or spiritual stagnation? We work so hard to make them work, thinking that if we push just a little bit more, everything will align. But sometimes, despite our best efforts, things still fall apart. And when they do, we feel lost, like we're being ripped away from everything we thought was secure. But this is where Allah's mercy shines the brightest. You see, Allah doesn't just guide us when everything is fine. His guidance doesn't show up when we're comfortable, when we think we've got everything under control. No. His guidance often shows up when everything falls apart, when we can no longer rely on the things we thought were stable, when we're left standing alone, looking at the wreckage of what we thought would last forever. That is when He guides us to something greater, something that we couldn't see when we were holding on to the wrong things. The falling apart is not punishment. It's the beginning of Allah clearing the path for us. It's the first sign of His mercy. In those moments of complete destruction, He is clearing the space for something better. He is removing the things that have been blocking your growth, your peace, and your connection with Him. He is allowing you to see, even if it's painful, that what you thought you needed was never really meant for you. And now, with everything falling apart, He's opening your eyes to the truth that He is guiding you towards something that is in perfect alignment with who you truly are, who you were always meant to be. When everything falls apart, we often want to fix it, don't we? We want to put the pieces back together, to restore what was lost. But Allah knows better. He knows that sometimes the best thing for us is not to rebuild what was torn down, but to build something completely new, something that can only come from the ashes of what's been destroyed. It's a hard process, but it's the process of growth, of transformation. When things fall apart, It's not the end, it's the beginning of a new chapter, a new life, one that is filled with Allah's guidance, filled with His wisdom and mercy. I know it feels like everything is falling apart. But know this, Allah is not leaving you to figure it out on your own. His guidance is there, even in the midst of your pain, your confusion, and your heartache. When you can no longer rely on the things that once gave you a sense of control, that's when you begin to see the true path that Allah has been preparing for you all along. And while it may be unclear right now, trust that He is leading you somewhere beautiful. His guidance is not always loud or obvious, but it is always there, especially in the moments when we feel most lost. The challenge, of course, is trusting that Allah's guidance is in the destruction. It's hard to believe that there's wisdom in the things falling apart when you're in the middle of it. It's difficult to see that the mess is part of the plan when you're the one standing in the rubble, unsure of what to do next. But trust that Allah knows exactly what He is doing. He is not breaking you, He is rebuilding you, and He is doing so with His infinite love and mercy. Everything that feels like a loss is actually part of your restoration. You might be asking, why me? Why does it feel like my life is falling apart when I've tried so hard? It's because Allah knows what's best for you. He knows that without the destruction, there would be no space for growth. He knows that if He doesn't remove these things from your life, you will remain stuck. You will stay in the comfort zone that is not truly fulfilling, not truly aligned with your purpose. He loves you too much to let you stay there. He is guiding you out of that place, even though it's painful right now. It's in these moments, when everything is falling apart, that you are being led to the deepest, most beautiful transformation of your life. This is when your soul is being prepared for something far beyond your understanding. This is when Allah's guidance is truly guiding you toward your best self, your true path. And it won't always be easy to see it right now. The confusion, the heartbreak, the loss, they will cloud your vision. But know that Allah is with you every step of the way, even in the silence, even in the struggle. When everything falls apart, it's not the end. It's the beginning of something new, something better, something that will make sense in time. Allah's guidance is always with you, even in the darkest moments, even when you feel lost. Trust in that guidance. Trust that the destruction you're experiencing is not for nothing. It is leading you to the life that you were meant to live, to the peace and the fulfillment that you have been seeking. It may feel like the end, but it's actually the beginning of a new and beautiful chapter in your life. Allah's guidance begins when everything falls apart, because it is in those moments that we are most open to His direction. When we are stripped of the things we thought we needed, we are finally ready to see what He has planned for us. And what He has planned for you is far more beautiful, far more fulfilling than anything you could have imagined. Trust the process. Trust in Allah's plan. The path ahead, though unclear now, will be filled with peace, light, and guidance, all in perfect alignment with His will. 7. If Allah is pulling you away, He is saving you. If Allah is pulling you away, He is saving you. This may be difficult to grasp in the moment, especially when everything around you feels like it's falling apart. You might feel confused, hurt, or even betrayed. When relationships fall apart, when plans crumble, when doors close in ways you never expected, it's easy to think you're being abandoned, that maybe you've done something wrong, or that Allah is punishing you. But, my dear friend, let me tell you this. If Allah is pulling you away from something, it is not because He is turning His back on you. It is because He is saving you. Allah sees what you cannot. He sees what lies beyond the surface, what's hidden beneath the apparent. The people, the opportunities, The situations that you are losing, they might have felt like the right ones. They might have seemed like your source of comfort, security, and stability. But Allah, in His infinite wisdom, knows that they are not what's best for you. They might have been temporary, illusions of comfort or stability that were keeping you from the life you were meant to live. And because He loves you, because He wants what's best for you, He is pulling you away from them. Imagine standing in a storm, holding on to something, a branch, a rope, something that seems like it could keep you steady. The wind is howling, the rain is pouring down, and everything is spinning around you. You're holding tight, thinking, if I just hold on, I'll be okay. But Allah, in His mercy, sees the danger you cannot see. He sees that the thing you're holding onto is actually pulling you deeper into the storm. It's not holding you up, it's pulling you down, keeping you stuck. And so, He pulls you away from it, gently but firmly, not because He wants to hurt you, but because He's saving you from being swept away in the storm. The storm may feel frightening. It may feel like your entire world is crumbling, like everything you've worked for, everything you've built, is slipping away. But Allah knows that if you stay where you are, if you continue to hold on to what is dragging you down, you will never be able to experience the peace, the growth, the life He has prepared for you. He is pulling you away because He wants you to experience something better, something that is more aligned with who you are, with your purpose, with the path He has planned for you. And this is where faith comes in, the faith to trust that when Allah pulls you away from something, He is not leaving you empty-handed. He is not taking something from you without giving you something far better in return. It may not make sense right now, it may not feel like it in the moment, but trust that Allah's wisdom is beyond what you can comprehend. He is taking you out of the storm, away from the things that are not meant to be a part of your journey, and leading you towards something greater, something more peaceful, something more fulfilling. When you feel like you're losing everything, when everything seems to be falling apart, remember this: if Allah is pulling you away, He is saving you. He is saving you from a life that would have kept you stuck, from people who would have drained your soul, from situations that would have kept you from becoming the person you were meant to be. He is protecting you from the things that would have held you back from your true potential, from the life of peace and fulfillment that is waiting for you. Think about it. Sometimes we don't realize that the things we are holding on to are the very things that are preventing us from moving forward. We become attached to comfort, to familiarity, to the way things used to be, even when they no longer serve us. We hold on to relationships, jobs, habits, and situations because they feel safe, even though they are not bringing us peace, growth, or happiness. And Allah, in His mercy, allows us to let go. He pulls us away from what we think we need so that we can make room for what is truly meant for us. It's like holding onto a rope that's tied to a sinking ship. As the ship sinks, you hold onto the rope, thinking you're holding on to something solid. But Allah sees the bigger picture. He knows that the ship is going down, and He knows that if you stay attached to it, you will go down with it. So, in His mercy, He pulls you away from the rope. It may feel like you're losing something, but He is actually saving you from sinking with it. And when Allah pulls you away from something, it's not just about what you're losing, it's also about what you're gaining. Allah is taking you to a place where you can finally breathe, where your soul can finally find peace. He is guiding you to the life that is meant for you, the life where you can thrive, grow, and live with purpose. The things you thought you were losing are just stepping stones to something greater. Allah is preparing you for a new chapter, one where you are free from the things that have been holding you back. If Allah is pulling you away, trust that He is guiding you to what you truly need. He knows what is best for you, even when it doesn't make sense to you. He is pulling you toward the people, the opportunities, the circumstances that will help you become the person He has always meant for you to be. And while the process may feel painful, while it may feel like you're losing everything, know that this is just the beginning of something beautiful. Allah is saving you. He is saving you from a life that would have kept you small, from people who would have kept you stuck, from situations that would have drained your soul. He is leading you toward a life of peace, of purpose, of fulfillment. Trust Him, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. He is guiding you to something far better than anything you could have imagined. The best is yet to come, and Allah is guiding you every step of the way. So, if you feel like Allah is pulling you away from something, remember, He is not abandoning you. He is saving you. He is taking you out of what was never meant for you and leading you toward what is truly meant for you. Trust in His plan, trust in His timing, and know that He is guiding you to something far greater than you can even imagine. 8. The trap was never your destination. The trap was never your destination. It's a hard truth to face, isn't it? You spent so much time trying to make it work, trying to build something out of what you thought was meant for you. You invested your heart, your energy, your time into relationships, careers, goals, into everything you thought would lead you to your purpose, to your happiness. But here you are, looking around, and it feels like everything is unraveling. It feels like everything is slipping through your fingers, like all that effort was wasted, like you're lost and don't know which way to go. You might be asking yourself, what went wrong? I thought this was the path. I thought I was doing everything right. Why does it feel like I'm stuck in this cycle? The answer is simple, yet profound. The trap was never your destination. What you've been holding on to, what you thought was the right path, was actually keeping you stuck in a place that was never meant to be your final stop. You see, sometimes we confuse the things that challenge us with the things that are meant to shape us. We convince ourselves that the struggles, the setbacks, the painful experiences are our final destination, that this is where we're supposed to stay. We build our lives around these things, thinking that they are the only path to fulfillment. But what happens when that path starts to feel suffocating? What happens when you've given everything you have and it's still not enough? It's because that wasn't the destination Allah had in mind for you. You were meant for something more, something bigger, something that would allow you to breathe freely, to stretch your wings, to grow and flourish in ways you never imagined. When you look back at what you've been through, at the struggles that have seemed so heavy, at the disappointments that have made you question your choices, remember this: Allah never intended for you to stay in that place. That struggle, that pain, those challenges, they weren't meant to define you. They were meant to shape you. They were meant to break open the parts of your heart and soul that needed healing. They were meant to prepare you for the person you were always meant to become, the life you were always meant to live. But the trap, the false security you built around yourself, was never the end goal. It was just a stepping stone. The trap was never your destination. The life you thought was meant for you, the plans you thought you were building, were simply the beginning. They were the lessons, the experiences that would guide you toward your real destination, the life Allah has planned for you, a life of peace, of purpose, of fulfillment. But first, you had to be shown the trap. You had to be shown that what you thought was your destination was actually a mirage, an illusion that kept you from seeing the truth. And now, as things begin to change, as Allah begins to pull you out of what you thought was safe, it may feel unsettling. It may feel like you're being torn away from everything you thought you knew, everything you thought you wanted. But what you're experiencing is not the end. It's the beginning of your true journey. Allah is pulling you away from the trap and guiding you toward your real destination, the one that aligns with your purpose, with your soul's true calling. It's hard, I know. It's hard to let go of what you thought was meant for you. It's hard to accept that the life you've been chasing was not the life you were meant to have. But trust in this. Allah knows what is best for you. He sees the big picture. He knows the path that will bring you true happiness, peace, and fulfillment. And sometimes, to get to that path, we need to be pulled out of the traps we've created for ourselves. We need to be shown that the things we've been holding on to were never the real destination. You see, the trap you've been stuck in has been keeping you from the life you deserve. It's been keeping you from the peace you've been searching for. And the reason it felt so comfortable, so secure, is because the trap was wrapped in something that seemed right. A relationship, a job, a dream, a belief that this was the way it was supposed to be. But Allah knew that if you stayed there, you would never grow. You would never become the person He created you to be. You would never experience the life that was meant for you. So, in His mercy, Allah begins to remove the things that are keeping you stuck. He begins to pull you away from what you thought was your destination so that He can guide you towards something far better. It's not the end. It's the beginning of a new chapter, a chapter where you can finally breathe, where you can finally step into the person you were always meant to be. A chapter where you are free from the constraints of the trap and free to live the life that is truly yours. And yes, it's painful. Yes, it feels like you're losing everything. But what you're losing is not meant for you. It was only ever meant to be a lesson, a temporary part of your journey, leading you to something greater. Allah is guiding you away from what is not yours and leading you toward what has always been meant for you: peace, fulfillment, purpose, and true success. The trap you thought was your destination was just a detour. It was a lesson, a moment that was meant to help you see the truth about yourself and about life. And now, as you move forward, as you let go of what was never meant for you, you will begin to see the path that Allah has been preparing for you all along. You will begin to see the life He has planned for you, a life filled with joy, peace, and purpose, a life where you can truly thrive. So, don't be afraid of what you're losing. Trust that what you're being guided away from was never meant to be your destination. Allah has something far better in store for you, something that aligns with your true purpose. The best is yet to come, and Allah is guiding you every step of the way. What you thought was the destination was only the beginning. The true journey begins now, and it's a journey toward a life that is beyond your wildest dreams. Trust that Allah knows what's best for you. Trust that He is leading you to a place where your soul can finally be at peace. The trap was never your destination. And now, as Allah guides you away from it, He is leading you to the life you were always meant to have. Hold on. You are on the path to something beautiful. You may not see it now, but everything you've been through, every silent tear, every hidden struggle, it's all part of Allah's plan to heal you, to guide you to something greater. The pain you've carried in private is now being transformed into strength, into wisdom, into peace. Allah has never left you. He has been guiding you through every moment, preparing you for what's to come. Trust that His plan is perfect, and know that the healing you're seeking is already in motion. Stay patient, stay hopeful, because the best is yet to come. You're not alone, and you never have been. Allah is with you, guiding you every step of the way.